Hello, hello. Today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my dark, rotten heart. And this is where I immediately stop again with the cringe wannabe voice acting. I want to talk about the edge that interests me, all the grimdark or dark worlds and IPs in general. Because when I was younger, I was an edgelord, a cringe edgelord actually. And it was cringe and I was free and it was awesome and a lot of fun. But yeah, ever since I was a little kid, I had a certain fascination for the more darker aspects of storytelling, of fictional verses, and all that good stuff. I'm also one of the people who usually appreciates the aesthetics of the bad guys of many fictional universes a bit more. So from a very early age, a very surface level attraction to certain visuals was just embedded in my brain. This is also the reason why I became a Warhammer 40k fanboy, and to this day I would say if I am a fanboy of one fictional universe, it would be probably Warhammer 40k. And I love Warhammer 40k because it is so over the top and unapologetically awful and badass and so many things at once, and I think it handles its edge really well actually, because again you have this very surface level oriented stuff that has a lot of weight to it because again the stakes are so high. Then of course it is first and foremost a game that is also being adapted into all kinds of video games, and it's not just Warhammer 40k, there are many different Warhammer IPs out there. And especially thanks to the Black Library, this is basically their book publishing arm. Over the last 10 to 15 years, I would say, they expanded so much about the many aspects of the universe they created. There's a lot of, I would say, interesting or deep edge that explores a lot of the stakes and the humanity. And with humanity, I don't just mean people, humans in the verse, but just characters that are facing basically the stuff of nightmares and insurmountable odds all the time, while sticking to their principles and actually putting their life on the line in a way that's just more than a seller's rage where they blow themselves up. Very interesting, and I always say you can enjoy Warhammer 40k for a lot of the shallow, awesome, extremely badass stuff, but again there are way more dimensions and depth to it that are ready to be explored by the people who want to go deeper. And talking about the good edge, like the healthy butter that's out there, also Berserk. Berserk is extreme. I'm a big fan of it, but yeah, like I said, extreme. The violence is extreme. It is grotesque. The topics are extremely dark, and for people who don't really can handle that or don't want to handle it, they should basically stay away from it. But if you say Berserk is just a viscera-covered gore and edgefest, you're also wrong. There's a lot of heart to it. I would say Guts is one of the most tortured fantasy characters ever, and it's a character who basically claims his humanity, comes this close to losing it all, and never stops fighting. It's a story about growing up, and it's a story about love, unconditional love, and keeping that love within yourself alive, refusing to break, refusing to become just an empty husk filled with regret and rage. This is what is at the core of Berserk, I would say, just in my interpretation, and it is all basically bundled in one big package with amazing art, disturbing visuals, excellent world building, and really high stakes. High stakes, again, is something that I just want to reiterate here. The reason why I like edgy and dark stories when they are executed well and of course have interesting visuals, to me, is that they are often a little bit more grounded, even if they're so over the top, like Warhammer 40k, for example, or any Warhammer IP for that matter, is because everything is a little bit more threatening. Bad things happen to good people all the time, unfortunately, in the real world, and so they do in more darker settings. So the heroism is all the more, I would say, impactful, and the sacrifices are too. And also in a world that's so over the top and violent, if you really go deeper onto the antagonists, the villains, the really bad actors, and give them some extra dimension, I think it's also a bit more impactful. And yeah, good storytellers can spin gold out of all of that. And I would like to make a bridge to another big, huge IP or series of IPs that is, of course, also extremely popular. I'm definitely not the first person to talk about it, but to connect it with Berserk. The Souls games, or basically everything from FromSoft that can be categorized as Soulsborne. So Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, and now Elden Ring. These are extremely bleak and violent worlds where a lot of sad things happened, where atrocities were committed, where really bad actors did horrible, horrible things. But these are also not worlds completely devoid of hope or humanity. Basically, losing your humanity is a core aspect of the Dark Souls games. And you see all these mighty kings, queens, and champions who basically are just sad, empty former shells of themselves. And then you meet filth-riddled nomad who kept his or her humanity and stands taller than all these great rulers of old. And these are also worlds, I mean the FromSoft worlds, who also have a certain amount of humor to them. It's, again, very fleshed out, and I would say edge done in the right way. Good stakes that challenge humanity, that challenge love, that challenge all kinds of things that want to make the characters rise to the occasion. And where is edge bad in my way? And again, I'm not the moral authority here. If you want your shallow gore fest or whatever and you have a good time, hey, I'm not the fan police. But when it comes to edge and edginess and a certain level of artistry in a very, I would say, douchey sense of way, it is something that really annoys me. It is basically the easy way out to give your story a certain level of gravitas that it doesn't deserve. So take a couple of characters. There are a bunch of negative examples. I don't want to point fingers. Maybe I do that in future videos. But yeah, let's say you have a very shallow story. You can't write your characters and your arcs really well. But you make it kind of grounded, kind of realistic, and then you just inflict misery porn on them. Just torture them, don't let them ever recover, just let it all wallow in misery and viscera and violence, and then just say, see, this made you upset? I'm such an artist. I can tell a grown-up adult story with like a lot of depth and dimension to it, because that violence, that misery porn made you feel something. So this is where I hate it the most, where it's definitely out the edge and just annoying, because again, it is shallow, it is edge for edge's sake, like I said in my last video. See, I'm already quoting my own videos, but I'm trying not to get full of myself. It's like originality for originality's sake. It doesn't work, it's always empty. Yeah, this is just me yapping about stuff. Definitely I'm not super duper serious about everything that I'm talking about here, but I'm caring enough about it that I want to talk about it here. So what is your opinion? Do you think I'm just rambling? Do you see it a little bit different? If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for listening to me yapping. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and if you stick around, see you in the next video.